One day.
Only once a year. It's my birthday.
You have a 1 out of 365
No.
chance of being right.
I'm talking about my little niece who has a birthday party, her 3rd birthday coming up in a month and a half, and she keeps, every time I see her, she keeps being like, it's my birthday. So she's really excited for her party, and I think she thinks she can trick us into just giving her the party.
Just at any moment.
Yeah, and every time we have to be like,
spontaneous party.
not yet. It's not your birthday.
God bless.
I went to another 3-year-old's birthday party this weekend because Utah is a ridiculous place where you go to 3-year-olds' birthday parties, apparently. And Liz was like, it's my birthday! And we were like, oh no, this must be very confusing.
It's not, homie.
No, buddy, it's Brooklyn's birthday.
Little homie.
And then she got kicked in the face, so
Oh.
Liz did not have an excellent Sunday.
You know, Liz has been,
Used and abused. It's hard being 3.
It is hard being 3 from what little I remember. I've never been to a 3-year-old's birthday party.
I mean, I like going to family events because it means I get to see my niece and nephew. Yeah. And I also like going with my mom, who gets isolated because she is not married.
Gotcha.
And so that tends to happen in our community, and so I like to be there too.
You're so good and supportive.
Field that type of nonsense, because instead people are like, you're young and of childbearing age, where's the man in your life?
That's a big mood.
Where's the man to impregnate you?
I was talking to Sarah yesterday about how I'm a stomach sleeper, but I, for various reasons, can't sleep on my stomach right now. Oh, hi.
Tybalt is in his too tight harness, and
Which
he looks
comforts
very
him
funny.
Strangely.
Yeah, it's like, you know those, like, thunder blankets you can get for dogs? Like, dogs that get anxiety in thunderstorms, you can get these, like, really heavy, not, like, heavy, but they, like, have a weight. They're, like, weighted vests that, like, wrap pretty tightly on their chest, and it, like, comforts them. It's like that for Tybalt. Maybe he's just got anxiety.
Maybe he does. We're a very anxiety-ridden
He was raised by us,
so yeah. There's a lot of anxiety to go around. Anyway, Sarah was like, God, I hope you're never pregnant. And I was like, shouldn't be an issue. Because let me tell you, not sleeping on my stomach for 9 months, that would kill me.
Listen.
I love sleeping on my stomach.
I know. Belly sleeping is the best. I usually sleep just like a little ball.
Yeah. Well, fetal?
When I do sleep.
Fetal position?
Mm-hmm. The fetal position.
My fetal sounded really weird to me for a second, and I was just like, fetus position?
Fetal Thor.
Feet all Thor. Ooh, gross. It's like hand all Thor, but worse.
Yeah, feet are obviously the worst appendage. The worst appendage?
Anyway,
it's the worst part of the body.
Well, I guess it depends on what
Okay,
your
you can't
body
say
is.
genitals.
Okay, because I think indisputably the balls are the worst.
I mean, yeah, you're right. I wasn't ready for that truth.
But disregarding genitals, then yeah, for me, I think it might be feet. Feet disgust me on a level that I can't really explain.
I've started to wear socks more frequently because
that's...
I don't want to just be barefoot around you if it grosses you out.
It only grosses me, like, I don't know if people are walking around barefoot, it just really, like, disturbs me on a fundamental level when I'm sitting on the couch and someone puts their bare feet next to me.
Yeah.
Like, close to touching me, because I'm like, I don't know where your feet have been.
That's a fair point.
And they're washed far less reliably than other limbs, so...
Yeah. No, you make a valid point.
Yeah, I'd be a terrible Jesus if they were like, wash the feet. I'd be like, no.
Well,
do it yourself, peasants.
There's a reason you're not Jesus.
I'm Lady Jesus, and I'm here to teach you self-reliance rather than serving others, I guess. Anyway.
This is an interesting energy to this cold open.
I'm so sorry. I'm so tired.
No, I'm right there with you. I meant to say this last episode, but I have mono. So if EHR communications department, as we are sort of loosely divided into production on Emily's side and communications on my side, has been lacking, it's because I have been wasting away like a Victorian invalid.
And right now her hands hurt really bad. She's currently, like, got a little, one of those rice heating pads around her wrist. So, yeah, if I'm bored at work, then I'll respond to you.
Yeah.
But I also feel far less guilty about ignoring you than Sally does. So.
I do feel super guilty about it because I couldn't read the chapters this week.
Yeah.
Because I can't hold books.
Do you want me to hold the lightning thief for you and turn the pages?
No, then you'll figure out how slow I read and I'll be embarrassed.
We could just watch the movie.
No, because it's not like the book at all.
I'd have to burn my eyes out if I watched the movie The Lightning Thief again.
Do you know I saw it in theaters?
I did too.
I was really excited about it because Lightning Thief was my shit in middle
everything
school.
was like...
Yeah, everyone was like, yes.
And also... Okay, we can't talk about this now. We'll talk about it on We Don't Watch Outlander.
Yeah, plug for our Patreon podcast. We Don't Watch Outlander.
Hold that thought. We'll come back to it. Okay, this is Everybody Hates Rand, your friendly neighborhood Wheel of Time podcast. Why do I always point at the computer when I do that?
It's like when I look at them, like you say something and I like side-eye the computer as if they can see me.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
I'm like this, because apparently I do that while public speaking or something. I don't know. Whatever, I'm Emily Chewshot. Yes, my last name is spelled like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a gift.
No, it's a curse.
No, it's a gift.
It's a gift and a curse.
And I'm Sally Goodger. My last name is also spelled like that. Believe it or not.
Your name makes sense. Mine is like a sneeze.
I know, it does make sense, but then people are like, Sally Goers?
Hey, little goblin.
Hey, little goblin.
Hey, little gerblin.
He's just munching.
Just munching on his little...
He's literally the dumbest animal in the world. The other day, Emily and I were watching TV, and we look over, and he was trying to eat his kibble with his paw. He was, like, scooping it out of the bowl.
It was very confusing. I wonder if he's seen me eat dry Cheerios that way.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I do that, and, like, been like, that's how I eat. I, too, am a human.
He's very dumb, and we love him very much.
Yeah, he's
very stupid.
Okay, speaking of stupid...
Egg.
Well, Egg's not... Well, they all are kind of stupid.
I mean, Egg's 16. Of course she's stupid.
Yeah, they're all bringing various levels of stupidity to these 3 chapters. These are 3 very odd chapters, by the way. I'm always, like, lost in the headspace of... It takes me a minute to reset to the idea that Teleron Riyadh isn't this, like, accepted, well-explored notion yet, that at this point in the story, like, this is all new to them. So when they're like, oh, we're super freaked out by this ring, and I'm like, I'm used to this ring being, like, another character in the story.
A main character.
It's Egg, the ring.
Egg, the ring.
And how they use it to communicate with each other, and just, like, it's a whole thing, you know?
Egg is the Lord of the Ring.
Egg is the Lord of the Ring. But where we're at, we pick up pretty much immediately after, like, the day after Egg has had her... I can't believe we're just gonna call her Egg for...
Sorry, you guys know what we're talking about.
After she's had her, like, whole acceptance trial. So this is right after she's been given the ring and the creepy hit list that Varen handed to them.
Hello, child. Would you like a murderess?
Hello, child.
Would you like to do a murder?
Hello, child. Would you like a list of murderous instruments?
Do a murder for me.
Here's the inventory of things that were stolen and wanted criminals. I want you to hunt them down.
What type of clue is this?
It's a
terrible game of clue.
It's a terrible clue. They're like poring over these. And Nynaeve's like, this is fucking useless. Like, you've given me a page out of the phone book.
Yeah.
And an inventory of lost items. This does most of which you don't know what they do. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, just track these women down using this. And everyone's like, how?
Listen, I'm no Sherlock homie.
Yeah, so this is day after accepted test. Concurrently, Matt is somewhere out on the grounds kicking Gawain and Galad's asses. Edwin references that they tried to go to his room and visit him, but he was already gone at that point because my boy has ADHD and cannot be confined in one room for more than an hour.
Also, just can't be tamed.
Can't be tamed. But they are kind of working on this schedule where every mealtime they also have to clean up after everyone and blah, 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 but for now they have downtime and are using it to pour over these lists, and it's like the stupidest. Like, use of time, but they have nothing else to do because they've been giving this impossible task.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you just look at the clues you've been given, I guess. It's like when you're trying to solve a math problem and you just, like, feel like you don't have anything to do it, so you're just staring at what you do have. Like, maybe if I look at this long enough, my brain will put 2 and 2 together in a way that makes sense, and it's just, no, because you didn't learn the math. You slept during that class, or at least I did.
It happens.
But eventually, Nynaeve's like, Elaine, put that fucking shit away, because it's useless. And Elaine's like, I don't know, I've learned from this that, like, of the 13 women on this list, they're all so different, like, it can't be, like, it has to be, intentional. Like, there's no woman who's the same age, or even, you know, there's a young one, there's an old one, there's, like, a middle ground, everyone's from a different country.
Different Ajas.
Different Ajas, yeah, it's all, like, very evenly split. And she's like, if it were unintentional, like, then there would surely be, like, coincidental, like, I don't know, groupings. You know, just statistically speaking, this is incredibly improbable. And Nynaeve's like, oh, that was surprisingly smart for you. And Elaine's like, thank you. I did learn from my mother, the queen. And everyone's like, shut up.
Everyone's like, we hadn't forgotten.
And everyone's like, okay, great, thanks. And then they're like, okay, well, all that tells us is that there are more Black Aja in the tower. And it's like, we've been new, you know? I guess, although that still creeps them out.
Yeah.
And then they just start talking again about all the women who they think might be Black Aja, which, spoiler alert, most of them are for whatever reason, because Robert Jordan was just like, I guess all the guys that I introduced early on will be Black Aja.
You know, foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
Chekhov's gun or whatever.
Except Alana, who isn't Black Aja, she's just weird and creepy.
She's just evil, but not like Satan evil.
And I've been
Just
meaning to look up
evil.
what happens to her and, like, what her story is, because I feel like it comes out in book 14.
Alana,
yeah.
Her story is
Alana,
that I hate her.
Google, Wheel of Time. I'm on the wiki. She is between 35 and 55 years old.
Okay, that's a very large gap,
Yeah,
Robert.
thanks a lot. Current status, dead. That's a spoiler.
I don't care. I'm
forgot
glad
that.
she fucking
But yeah, I'm
dies.
glad she's dead, so don't really care.
Perish.
The last battle. While Rand was confronting Shaitan at Shale Gul, Nynaeve discovered Alana in the Pit of Doom.
What?
Oh, it was so that the Dark One was like, I'll just kill this lady that Rand is bonded to so that it will, like, shock him, like, and that'll make him be defeated or something. So Nynaeve tries to heal her, but she ends up dying.
Well, I don't love that plot for her death, but I do appreciate that she dies.
It's very stupid. Like, the general vibe with Alana, as it is with several other characters, is that Robert Jordan intended for more to be done with her and just changed his mind
Yeah.
partway through. Like, this very strange behavior of Alana's in this book is, like, never explained. And that's very frustrating as a reader, because, like, if you're going to call attention to it so many times, then you want there to be a reason that you invested any of your thought into it, you know? Like, it's one thing for a character to behave oddly and everyone to think, oh, that was weird, and it to, like, not come back, because people do behave oddly sometimes. But if they're like, we're in this state of paranoia and every little thing is going to be micro-examined, then...
Yeah.
Yes, I would like an explanation, please, why Alana is so interested in what's going on with the girls.
Yeah.
Especially because it's not like she has any really relationships with them for the rest of the series. She goes with Varen to the Two Rivers after this. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
To what end?
Why?
What's the point?
She's just a pervert?
Yeah, is she just a pervert? That's sort of the
It's kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah, that's sort of the reigning idea, I think.
Yeah.
Women can be perverts, too. Equal
Lest
opportunity
you forget.
perversion. You're in the White Tower.
Everyone in the White Tower is a pervert, pretty much.
Yeah, that's more or less true. I'm trying to think of anyone who's not a pervert.
Egg, maybe.
Egg is
Maybe
pretty...
she does want to have sex with Galen.
Egg's pretty vanilla. Yeah, yeah, that's a
It's a
perversion
Persian of its own.
Yeah, Varen, she's pretty chill.
Yeah. Good for you, Aaron.
Good for you, Varen. Okay.
Even though you do send children to do your murders.
Oh, Varen. Oh, very.
Don't understand
Fool.
this plot. It's fine.
It's such a dumb plot.
It's
Like,
so weird.
Robert, come up with something better. There's also the idea that over these 3 chapters and the last chapters, incredibly little time has passed between when Swan gives them the mission, quote unquote, and when they decide to go out of the White Tower. It's like 3 days.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we keep waiting for Swan to come and talk to us, and she hasn't yet, so we're just gonna leave. And I'm like, bitch, she's busy. Like,
she's busy running the
It's
country.
been 48 hours. What, do you think she really thinks that you 3 idiots have come up with anything?
No.
Like, homies. Little homies.
Little mamas.
Little mamas, come on.
Little mamas, use your brains.
Yeah, anyway, they're just sitting there chatting. They do resolve, like, they take out the terrestrial dream ring, and are like, okay, well, one of us has to use it, and it's gonna be Edwene, so she's gonna wear it when she goes to sleep tonight, and basically just see what happens, because that's where we're at. Oh, they do also, I wanted to point this out, they are looking at the list of terrestrial, that were stolen by the 13 ladies, and many of them, including the ring that Edwene now has in her possession, were last studied by this one particular Aes Sedai, who, kind of has some mysterious, we don't quite know what happened to her, and it's implied that that's actually Satalanon.
Oh.
That she, burned herself out studying terrestrial and then left the tower.
Oh, that's very interesting.
I know, and I bring this up only because I'm really mad that isn't looked at more in depth and made canonical. I meant to look that up also, whether that is canonical, because I just really like Satalanon.
Yeah, she's rad.
She is one of my favorite characters of all time. Satalanon, Wheel of Time. It says she's an innkeeper. She was a former Aes Sedai of the Brown Aja whose ability to channel was burned out while studying a terrestrial. Her birth name that she used as an Aes Sedai was Martine Janata. Which is but it could have been this lady.
Yeah, that would have been so rad.
That would have been rad. Also, a cool thing about Wheel of Time is that you have this opportunity to bring up, we've talked about this before, there's this ingrown mythology in the series of various characters that have the opportunity of being presented for our characters to meet. And the most obvious example is God, I always forget his name. Noel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Matt's friend in Abu Dar, who ends up being the Jane Farstrider, who it's such a wild thing because these books that everyone has in their household, it you kind of don't think of them as contemporary books, but they are contemporary books.
Yeah.
And you have this opportunity to do a similar thing here with having this woman who has kind of been lost to history, but she was an Aes Sedai, so she could have been living for a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have her be presented again.
Yeah.
As just this rando who helps Matt keep his life together after
which is
all the bullshit that happens to him.
Not an easy task.
Not an easy task. She's okay.
I guess this is my son now.
This is my adopted child now, along with all my other children. This is the 9th or whatever.
This is my 18th child.
This is my 18th
He's my
child.
favorite, and he's the dumbest.
Macathon. I have to hold his hand constantly.
Such an idiot.
He's so stupid.
God, I love him.
Then Elsie Grinwell just appears in the doorway, and they're like, bitch, did anyone ever teach you to knock? And she's like, I have a message from the Amerlin. And they're all like, okay, well, what is it? And she's like, the things that were stolen from the things that the ladies who left behind is found in the room on the bottom of the stairs to the left of the 19th storeroom back by the library. Just follow the road and take a left at the ash tree. And it's like, what? How does anyone remember that?
Yeah.
And then she runs away. They're like, what?
That doesn't sound like a trap at all.
They're like, what the fucking? But also, she's known as a huge gossip and a blabbermouth. So they're like, okay, why? We have to go talk to her and get her to not repeat this everywhere. So Edwene literally sprints after her and then is following her, but then she rounds a corner and it's not Elsie, it's Lanfear. And only she's not known as Lanfear. And it's a very odd confrontation with some poor writing on Robert Jordan's part because he was a coward and was afraid to, like, commit to Edwene being like, damn, that's a sexy woman.
Yeah.
And instead was like, oh my god, I feel so inferior to this woman. And I was like, Robert Jordan, women know that other women are beautiful.
Yeah. Also, lesbians exist.
Yeah, do you think if I met Brie Larson, I would be like, oh my god, I feel so inferior? I'd be like, damn, top me.
Yeah, exactly.
Lady.
Hey.
Hey, you're so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
It's how women work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. We know that the female form is incredibly beautiful.
Yeah, I have eyeballs.
Yeah.
Egg has eyeballs.
Egg has eyeballs. If she met Lanfear, the canonical most beautiful woman in existence,
Yeah.
Egg, too, would be like, damn.
Mm.
Damn, son.
Yeah, I'd hit it.
Even if she's straight as a board, she'd be like, yep.
Yeah, straight as a board. It's just a funny saying.
But anyway, Lanfear's like, and Lanfear's like, what do you want? And Egg is like, I'm looking for this girl who was running away, like, here's her description. And Lanfear's like, oh yeah, I saw her, but she was running super fast, so you'll never catch her. And Egg's like, okay. And Lanfear's like, now get out of my sight.
Yeah.
And Egg's like, I'd rather not. And then Lanfear disappears. Poof. Poof. Like dust on the wind. Which is odd, because what the fuck? Lanfear has so many powers that are never, like...
Explained.
She's just, like, mystery woman over here. And also, like, why is she running around the tower disguised as Elsie Grinwell, giving the girls this information? Because it clearly didn't come from Swan. It was just Lanfear being like, check this out.
I know, and it's also frustrating. We've talked about this before, how, like, Lanfear exists in, like, a weird and unnecessary spot in this, like, portion of the book, because, like, other characters exist to give characters information.
Yeah.
And so, like, why, instead of giving them this list, wasn't Varen like, here's this list, and also here's their belongings if you want to look through them. It's very weird to me.
Yeah, and just, like, period, why is Lanfear there? We're never given, like, an explanation of that exactly. It's this very confusing thing, especially as we get, like, later into the books and find out that Lanfear doesn't have any particular interest in the White Tower.
Yeah. Like,
as the Forsaken kind of start setting up their quote-unquote domains, like, that's where, like, Masana makes camp.
Yeah.
And Lanfear's like, I'm just over here stalking Rand, literally. Yeah. It's like, why isn't she stalking Rand currently? It's just this very odd thing where Robert Jordan is like, here, I'm going to give you this mystery woman whose motivations are never properly explained. And I'm like, that doesn't work. Like... Yeah. A femme fatale eventually will, like, have her motivations explained to us, the readers.
Yeah.
And what she's doing here in the White Tower is, as far as I can tell, just wandering around hazing people.
Insulting Matt.
Confusing people.
Yeah.
Being imperious.
Yeah.
She's basically Elaine, but hotter.
Maybe that's her whole point. She's like, listen up.
She's like, I heard...
Princess.
I heard there was a princess around here, and I need to put her on the correct level.
Yeah.
I'm better than you.
I need her to know her place.
Yeah.
In the hierarchy, I'm on top.
And it's like, why does Lanfear want the girls to go to Tyr after the Black Aja? Like, is she helping the Black Aja? It's just so goddamn confusing.
Any sense. Yeah.
Like, I just don't know. This whole plot line. I know we've said The Dragon Reborn is a perfect text, and mostly it is.
Yeah.
Except for the girls' weird plot.
Yeah, except for this. Like, once they get out of the tower, I have no problem, but it's like Robert Jordan, instead of just having them leave the tower, was like, gotta make it complicated.
Yeah, and it's like they're clearly miserable at the tower right now. It's this very odd thing where they're like, we desperately want to get out, to the point that, like, after what happens in these chapters, they're all like, we're gonna sleep together for comfort. Like, we don't want to be alone in our own rooms. Like, that means you're real scared, homies.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's totally reasonable that you want to get out.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's also been 2 days.
It's also been 48 hours.
It's also been 3 minutes.
So maybe.
Maybe chill. Anyway, they then go to the place where all of the missing Black Aja's belongings are being held. And there's this hilarious scene where they, like, there's a lock on the door. And Edwine's like, I think I could just, like, unlock this. Because actually I have, like, I'm really strong with metalworking, basically. And I can just do shit with the power. And then Nynaeve makes a crowbar out of thin air and is like, move aside! I will open this door.
Yeah.
And Edwin's like, okay, lady. Crazy loon. But they get in and it's like, dirt to dirt. They look through all the belongings and everyone is just like old clothes and shoes and then one single item in each woman's pile of belongings that points to Tyr.
Yeah.
And they look at these and Nynaeve's like, so clearly this is a trap. And Egg's like, oh, that's what that is.
God bless her.
Just
stupid.
I just thought everyone was really invested in Tyr this time of the year. Like, homies. Come on.
At least Nynaeve has learned something from their kidnapping in book 2.
I know, and Nynaeve's like, well, ain't gonna fool this bitch again. And it's like, but you are.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 87 times.
Fool me 87 times, as happens with Nynaeve.
Shame on me, absolutely. I'm foolish.
It's also a little bit, I don't know, because early on in this book, you are presented with the idea that Tyr is going to be endgame.
Yeah.
Similar to how at the beginning of book 2, we were presented with Falm as endgame. And the question just then becomes, how will everyone get there?
Mm-hmm.
And so having the girls go on this convoluted search for the Black Aja, and eventually they're like, all right, we're going to go to Tyr. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
If this is what it takes. But please just go already.
Yeah.
But then they wash some dishes and go up to their room, and Egwene goes to sleep with the ter'angreal ring, which is, like, super dumb in retrospect, now that we know how scary Teleron Riad is. Oh, she also tells us about some of her dreams, which I forgot, too.
Oh, yeah, at the beginning.
Go through, at the very beginning of this sequence, she's talking about some of her creepy dreams. She has dreams about, basically, Aes Sedai getting enslaved by the Shanshin and then being used against the White Tower, which for sure happens.
It's a bunch of foreshadowing. It's like Matt's eye on a scale and Perrin with some wolves.
Yeah, a dream about White Cloaks binding her father's hands. Obviously, the White Cloaks are going to be in the Two Rivers in a little bit. Rand reaching for a sword that seemed to be made of crystal, never seeing the fine net dropping over him, which is ironic because the exact same goddamn thing happens to the girls. They're like, what? A net? Whomst? And then one where he's kneeling in a chamber where a parched wind blew dust across the floor and creatures like the one on the dragon banner, but much smaller, floated on that wind and settled into his skin, which is like his going to Ruidaean and getting his tats. Dream of him confronting Shanshin happens. Walking down into a great hole in a black mountain happens. Shealgul. Matt and Perrin. Perrin has the whole hawk and falcon thing, which continues to annoy me that it's like such a relevant, like such a part of the plot. Like, could we seriously not think of anything else for Perrin to do but like have to find his way through two women scheming over him?
I mean, Perrin is the marriage character, so of course there has to be the temptation or threat of adultery.
Which is so fucking ironic, because Matt's name is literally 3 letters off from matrimony. Yeah. Like, come on.
So stupid.
And that dream of Perrin with a beard! Exclamation point. Edwina is shocked by the goddamn beard. She's like, I've never seen a beard before. What could this mean? Lady, what's the symbol? Let me look at my tarot cards, see what
beards mean.
Yeah, let me examine my dream catcher and figure out what a beard could mean. Leading a huge pack of wolves that stretched as far as the eye could see. Yeah, then there's Matt placing his own left eye on a balance scale. Happens, metaphorically, anyway. Matt hanging by his neck from a tree limb. Happens. Dream of Matt and Shanshin, too, but she was willing to dismiss that as a nightmare. It was like the one about Matt speaking the old tongue. And it's like, she's all like, these are all just nightmares. And I'm like, girl,
that's a lot of prophecy.
That's a whole goddamn bunch of nightmares for you to be having. Especially, I don't remember my nightmares. I don't know. Like, maybe for a little while, but...
It's just a lot. Especially because Edwine's like, people have been telling me that I have the foretelling in my dreams, so it must just be a bunch of nightmares.
Well, it's also so, like, people have been like, oh, maybe you're a dreamer, but also maybe not. And it's like... you couldn't be more confusing about this whole thing. It's like, I kind of understand where she's coming from in the whole, I don't want to make something out of nothing. But, like, girl, it's time to make something out of this because you've been having these dreams consistently of, like, creepy shit happening. Like, what's it gonna take? When Perrin finally grows a beard, is that when you'll believe you're a dreamer?
Oh, fuck.
Can you imagine that day in the Stone of Tear when she passes Perrin, hasn't seen him in a few days, he's got a full beard, she's like, oh my god, holy fuck, I am a dreamer. And Perrin's like, are you okay, Egg? And she's like, no.
No.
Where's Matt? I have to tell him to guard his eyeball.
Yeah. Is Matt's eye okay?
His poor little neck. Jesus.
Yeah, he do have neck scars, right?
I know, yeah, lots of little neck
he wears
scars.
his sweaty scarf.
I always picture that scarf as so goddamn sweaty.
And just disgusting. Like, does he wash it?
Just all of him. How can Matt be an appealing character, but I also consistently picture him as just very sweaty?
Just, like, so greasy. Just, like, sweat pouring down. His hair is matted to his head with sweat.
He's just a sweaty boy.
Like, why can't he regulate his temperature? What is his deal? Does he not know how to rest?
It becomes such a funny thing when later in the series you get all the, like, channeler characters who are like, and I've learned the trick for ignoring the heat and the cold. And Perrin, who's more or less like, I'm a wolf, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then we cut over to Matt, who's like, oh my god, I'm dying over here. The heat stroke, the frostbite.
Yeah.
Please, can I have a break?
Oh, the poor boy.
Oh, babe.
I know.
And he's like, why isn't anyone else sweating? What the fuck's wrong with
Just
me?
like buckets.
Am I a medical disaster or something?
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, you probably are. You've been stabbed enough times. I'm surprised you don't have tetanus.
He probably does.
He probably does, yeah.
If we examined medicine in the Wheel of Time a little bit more, Robert,
Nope.
perhaps we would
Robert's
know whether
like,
or not Matt has tetanus.
No, I am not interested in medicine. Whomst is she?
I don't know anything about tetanus. Who's that bitch?
Rabies? What?
Rabies? Infection? Don't be ridiculous. I have magic witches. They heal all infections. And if that doesn't work, spit some herbs into it.
Cancer these days is defeated by herbs and just the magic in the water.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Just spit in that magic water. Down the hatchet. No more cancer.
Anyway, Edwin goes to Teleron Riyadh and immediately discovers that she can change her clothing, like, at will. Mm-hmm. And then she doesn't really, like, control how she gets around at first. She's sort of controlled by what she's thinking about right as she falls asleep.
Yeah.
She's kind of like, oh my god, I hope Rin and Perrin are safe. So, of course, she immediately goes to Perrin, who is, like, more or less in Teleron Riyadh also, I guess. And he's just, like, chained to a pillar, and he's holding his own chains, and it's like, that's symbolic enough, but also I would like to examine whether this actually was a dream that Perrin, like, did to himself.
Yeah, like what?
And Hopper's just, like, at the door.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you come near my son?
Excuse me.
My idiot.
My son is chaining himself to a pillar.
Yeah, he's doing the whole goddamn werewolf thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's very,
I was thinking
very
about
kinky.
Prometheus, but you're right.
And Prometheus, you right.
No, but yeah, werewolves always, like, chain themselves to the radiator or whatever.
Or whatever, and everyone's always like, oh, it's this kinky sex thing. Nope, werewolf.
Nope, that boy. Yeah, if you ever see someone in chains, don't automatically assume it's BDSM. It might be werewolfism.
But what you should remember, because we learned this in our werewolf class, is that werewolves are themselves a kinky sex thing.
Yeah.
Pretty much just by nature of humans being weird.
Humans are gross, and everyone wants to fuck a wolf.
Apparently.
If you've apparently.
I'm gonna keep
That was such a good joke. Oh my gosh.
Rough. Okay. Then Edwin's like, oh no, a wolf. And runs over to Rand's dream where he's like, I hate you! You keep trying to trick me with my mom and my dad and pretty girls. And I can't stand this anymore, not Edwin. And Edwin's like,
are you okay?
Edwin's like, okay, well, clearly.
Clearly this is not a place
Clearly
to be.
things have taken a downward spiral since the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
He's like, my mom tried to feed me poison cake, and my dad tried to put a knife in my ribs. And I'm like, you don't even know your mom. Why is Why must this be a thing?
Also, poison cake.
Yeah. Super rude.
Yeah.
How dare you poison cake?
It's also just, like, weird. Like, I've never thought of the wheel world as having cake.
Honey cakes, they called it.
That makes sense. I was thinking, like, birthday cake. It's
Which I was like, I want to know what a honey cake is. That sounds delicious.
It's fucking delicious.
I know, yeah. Honey and cake, my two favorite things.
I'm listening to the Mabim Bam episode right now where they talk about the cornbread festival.
Oh my god.
It's taking me like 3 days. I'm still not done with it. That's the rate I listen to podcasts.
Yeah, that's fine. I can't remember if she sees anything else, but she does eventually, like, just talk to the ring and be like, take me where I need to go. Which, later, through much trial and error in this series, we will find out is a thing you can do in, Teleron Riyadh, is search based on need. Like, that's how Elaine and Nynaeve find the Bowl of the Winds.
Mm-hmm.
But Edwene kind of just automatically does it here because she has no idea how else to travel.
Yeah.
Anyway, that takes her to the heart of the Stone of Tyr, where this old creepy woman named Sylvie is like, hello, I'm here to help you and explain things to you. And Edwene's like, okay, bitch, what the fuck? And I'm like, girl, it is Lanfear in disguise.
Again.
I know, what is it with Lanfear and, like, I know this is a trope thing of, like, beautiful sorceress disguises self as a crone.
Yeah.
Or, like, as a quote-unquote ugly woman.
Yeah.
It's just very, like, I don't know, again, doesn't really achieve much overall.
Yeah. Again, what is the point of Lanfear?
Like, again, why is
Please.
Lanfear so desperate to, like, fucking get the girls there? Lanfear, what? Is Lanfear just like, I don't know what's going to happen at the Stone of Tyr, but I do want everyone to be there to see it, because I'm a lunatic.
Is it because, at this point, Rand and Edwene still have not fully severed their romantic relationship, so she's like, kill egg?
I don't think so.
Smash egg? Egg smash.
Egg smash?
I smash egg?
I smash egg now? No, I think if, like, what we've seen from Lanfear is that when she does, like, actually feel threatened by a woman, is that she freaks the fuck out.
You're right.
But, like, there's that scene at the end of The Great Hunt where Min is literally in bed with Rand because she's a huge idiot. And Lanfear's like, okay, whatever, keep him safe for me until I come back to get that dick.
It's true.
And it's, I don't know.
I just don't understand her.
It's just like, if she was at all invested in Edwene because of that, I think her motivation would be just to kill Edwene.
Yeah, smash
Not
egg.
like go, smash egg. Not like this convoluted of deliver egg to other smashers across the country. Like,
Deliver egg to out-of-country smashers.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be this goddamn convoluted. Anyway, so Edwene is like, okay, I really gotta go to the Stone of Tyr. Right as someone else is coming to look at the sword, and it's Sylvie's like, ugh, he comes all the time. And you sort of are like, Rand? But I think it's actually supposed to be Belal, the guy who is in Tyr, like, wanting the Calendor.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Sylvie's like, you gotta get out before he finds you. And then just, like, I don't know, makes Edwene leave. Because Edwene's like, I don't know how to go anywhere. And Sylvie's like, oh my god, you fucking idiot. And how are you here?
How are you alive?
How are you alive? What the hell? Anyway, so then she goes back to the waking world, and they're like, immediately, they're like, okay, well, let's go to Tyr. We'll give Swan 12 more hours to discuss with us this, and then we're heading out. And Elaine's like, okay, but I need to send my mom a letter so she doesn't freak out and wage war on Tar Valon, because that almost happened last time. And they're like, okay, we'll figure something out. And then as they're going to sleep, Nynaeve's like, I just had a great idea about who could deliver the letter to your mom. One ADHD boy on the other side of the tower.
Desperate
To flee this place.
Absolutely fucking desperate.
Get me out of here! Such a lunatic.
Just banging on the walls.
Yeah, anyway, that's the chapters. It's just yet another... It's like, finally, can we get out of goddamn Tyr? I mean, get out of
Tower.
the White Tower?
Let's go to Tyr.
Let's go to Tyr.
I want to watch Matt whoop wall.
I know, it's just, the more I read, the more I reread this series, the more I'm irritated by the whole Black Aja, 13 Black Aja being used as the plot, like, at all to motivate any of our characters.
Yeah.
Before they're, like, like, I don't know, it would make sense as something that would be happening in Swan or Moiraine's, like, lives if they were given, you know, more frequent points of view. But, like, as these girls who aren't supposed to even be involved in White Tower politics, it's just kind of annoying. Like, I just want Egg and Nynaeve to be more or less on the same wavelength as the boys in terms of how they're interacting with Rand being the Dragon Reborn and needing to go save the world and stuff, I guess.
Yeah. It just takes them a really long time to get on the same level of agency as the boys.
Yeah, they're still just like, we have to do this for the White Tower and this for the White Tower.
Yeah, and this because Swan told us to, and this because, you know, Varen told us to.
Yeah, and Edwene never really gets out of that, you know? She's like, I'm gonna go to the Ale Waste, and, like, that's something I do want to do, but it's so I can learn about dreaming.
Yeah.
And then I'm basically gonna be bossed around by the Wise Ones, and then I'm gonna become the Amerlin Seat and still get bossed around by people until finally I become the boss. And then it's still, like, obligation upon obligation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just feel like never is anyone really doing things. And I mean, that's more or less true of every character. It just feels more restrictive with the women, I guess.
Yeah.
Even though Matt is theoretically the most restrictive plot line, he's the one who's
Constantly caged.
constantly getting forced into things. But
Yeah. It's just, it really does. Because it feels like the boys, even though Matt's constantly getting caged and Matt chooses or elects a lot of obligations.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's like part of that process. Like, Matt chooses. It's like part of his character that he's like, if I get my word, I get my word. And it's like Perrin's making choices and Rand is making choices. Whereas the girls, it's just like, do this.
yeah, we're doing what we've been told to do.
Yeah.
And we are making choices, but the central motivation is doing what we've been told.
Yeah, whereas like the boys are being guided by fate. It's like the women are being guided by human beings.
I
Other
know.
human beings.
Yeah,
it's
just
very
like,
annoying.
again, becomes yet one more paragraph in the overall essay of why the girls should just be Taviran.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
It's because otherwise we get get blocks of chapters like this where they're just running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
Like, oh my god, I don't know what to do.
25 pages until Robert Jordan's like, I guess Lanfear. Well, she's
I guess
here.
Lanfear will just tell them where to fucking go because no one else is doing it. And it's like, Robert, that's your job.
You can control that.
Robert, we don't have to be in this situation.
You're in charge.
You are in charge of the narrative.
Believe it or not, bucko.
Oh man, come on, Chief. Like,
come on, Tiger.
We can do it. Anyway, we'll be back next time with the girls peacing out and also giving Matt an opportunity to peace out. God, of course, he'll
So
be like,
grateful.
yes, thank you, dear God.
Flee.
Flee from my life. But until then, thanks very much for listening. Thank you, Glenna McKenzie, for the use of our theme song. We're so happy and grateful for it. Please check us out on iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe. Oh god, I sound like a YouTuber.
Please rate, review, and subscribe.
Please rate, review, and subscribe.
I know it
to our
sounds
channel.
tacky and dumb, but it really does help.
Yeah, it does. And again, if you do want to interact with us on social media, we do love that, and we'll get to you eventually.
Yes, I will get to you. I've been doing better. Been trying, making a concerted effort, but I do feel like my hands are gonna fall off in the amount of time it just took me to pull this sign off. So please be patient with your ailing mother.
Yes. Ready to sign us off?
Yeah.
Okay.
This sign off comes from Reagan Karen. Thank you, Reagan. And they write, I don't really like driving. Big fucking mood, first of all. So it took me a while to get my license. Same. I just got it this summer. Hey, congratulations. So during Christmas break, when I was home, I did a lot of errands for everyone, included being the designated driver for my brother and his girlfriend. Listen, you deserve an award already. I know this.
I also do this whenever I come home for the holidays. It's like my dad's like, just do all the holiday shopping for me, personally, Chris, because I don't have time. The meat thermometer business is booming.
But what about the meat thermometers, Emily? Emily, it's the holidays. Everybody needs to, what is it, gift of the Magi, everybody with a meat thermometer.
I remind me to tell you something about how my mom misuses the gift of the Magi. Anytime anyone gives someone a gift, my mom is like, it's like the gift of the Magi.
Becky, no, that's not even remotely
We're like, Mom, no.
That's not correct.
At this point, she knows and just does it to annoy us.
Okay.
get back to Reagan.
Sorry. She was being the designated driver for brother and his girlfriend when they went to celebrate his birthday at a New Mexican restaurant in town. It was dark, which made me nervous. Yes. And I hardly drive my brother's shitty car, so I was in a completely new environment, especially because I hardly drove through this part of town we were in. Does your brother hate you? Like, what? My brother, tipsy in the passenger seat, told me directions. Such a bad decision. Yes, truly. Drunk people should be banished. And we came to a dead end on a back road. Oh, no. Both my brother and his girlfriend were laughing and making jokes while I gripped the wheel till my knuckles hurt and was struggling to survive this journey, OBB. After 20 minutes, we got to a road I recognized and got those two weirdos home. Lesson, being designated driver sucks. Never listen to my older brother. Yes, and yes. However, I did get a free burrito, so I would probably do it again because that was a really good burrito. Well, I'm glad you survived.
Yeah, do it for the free burrito, though. Do it for the vine. Do it for the free burrito.
Do pretty much anything for a free burrito.
Goodbye.
Bye.